Two U.S. senators are trying to close one of the loopholes that allow Beijing to get Americans' health data. For years, Beijing has been able to collect Americans' DNA information through both legal and illegal means. NTD's Tiffany Meyer has more on that.
Two U.S. senators are pushing for a bill that will make it harder for Beijing to get its hands on Americans' personal health data. Before we get to the details of the bill, here's the important background. The Chinese regime has been collecting large sets of data on Americans, especially sensitive health data. And Beijing has been doing it through both legal and illegal means. One of the legal avenues is through buying U.S. firms that handle health data. Like in 2013, China's BGI Group bought an American genomic sequencing firm. And in 2015, another Chinese company bought U.S. firm Nextcode Health. This is one of the loopholes the new bill aims to close. Currently, a U.S. government agency called CFIUS is guarding against these foreign investment deals. If the agency suspects a deal could threaten America's national security, it can recommend that the president block the deal. Right now, if foreign companies want to buy American firms that handle personal data, they are not required to report the move to CFIUS before cutting the deal. It seeks to give CFIUS the power to make companies declare these actions before completing the transaction. Senators Marco Rubio and Raphael Warnock introduced the measure. But foreign investment isn't the only way Beijing can collect Americans' health data. The regime has also been stealing it. One of the most famous examples came in 2015 when Chinese hackers stole health data on over 70 million Americans from health insurer Anthem. The stolen data included names, health identification numbers, social security numbers, and income information. Another important piece of health data Beijing has been collecting is Americans' DNA. DNA is extremely valuable information for Beijing. That's because it provides intimate details about its owner, like whether they're inclined toward addiction or at risk of getting cancer. A U.S. intelligence report says if Beijing gains this information about an individual and can also identify the person, it'd be easier for Beijing to target him or her for manipulation or extortion. For example, data associated with an embarrassing addiction or mental illness could be leveraged for blackmail. Some individuals are also more likely to be targeted than others, like diplomats, politicians, high-ranking federal officials, or military leadership. The report also says Americans' health data may be particularly attractive to Beijing, partly because the U.S. population is more ethnically diverse. And also, unlike other nations, the U.S. has relatively loose control over its health data, so it's easier to get a hold of. Aside from theft and foreign investment, Chinese companies can also get health data through forming business partnerships. Here's how it works. American hospitals and universities are always on the lookout for low-cost genomic sequencing services. And Chinese firms can always offer competitive pricing because they are backed by government subsidies. This opens the door for Chinese firms to get American patients' health data. At least 15 Chinese firms have been able to access American patients' genetic data through providing genomic services. Back on Chinese soil, if Beijing decides it wants data from these companies, they literally cannot say no. They are required by law to comply.